everyone, and welcome to our first edition of XTIVIA's Content Management Snacktime Snippets. My name is Alex Killian, and I'm the video producer here on XTIVIA's marketing team. And today I am joined by Vivek Agarwal, the CTO and Vice President of Digital Experience Solutions here at XTIVIA. Vivek wears multiple hats, including those of enterprise architect and technologist on the technical side. And then he's also the practice lead, program manager, team mentor, sales, and client relationship manager on the managerial side. And today we have the pleasure of hearing from Vivek on all things Contentful. Vivek knows so much about content management, has been working with content management software and solutions for many years. So we're going to ask him some things about specifically Contentful Headless CMS. And I'm very excited to be here with him today. So Vivek, our first question for you today. Can you tell us a little bit about XTIVIA's history and experience with content management software and what we've learned over the years about best practices for content modeling?
We worked with a number of content management systems over the years where even before the introduction of Headless CMS, we used to work with structured content and IBM Web Content Management and then LifeRay and some other systems as well. Having said that, especially what has happened in the last few years, in the last 5 to 7 years, is that JavaScript has become the language of choice, for pretty much everybody, So JavaScript / TypeScript, I would just say. So, when it came to content management with Headless CMSs in particular, we've learned, the various best practices around, what you do when it comes to content modeling in Contentful. But more than just Contentful, it is, typically there is a challenge that you run into where your design team has certain considerations for what matters most to them. Your content managers have different considerations in terms of the kind of control they need. Your developers have different considerations that are important to them. So usually content modeling is about making a set of trade-offs that result in the optimal, it's like the balancing a project, where you have cost, timeline, scope, quality, those are your variables, and you're trying to find the right balance. It's a, you can't have everything, so you find the right balance. And that's the same kind of thing that you do with content modeling in Contentful or any other headless CMS for that matter. And essentially, when it comes to the number of content types, there is a balance to be struck in terms of, where you abstract something into its own content type versus, as an example, let's say you've got, let's say you've got downloadable resources on your member portal. And your downloadable resources might be, like a research paper or a case study or an ebook or a white paper, let's say. Those are the 4 categories. Now, I could set up in the content model an enumeration field in Contentful, which is called type or resource type or type, and have that be one of these 4 values. That's one way of doing it. And with that approach, I'm not using a content type, because my resource is my content type, and it has a field in it called type. Another approach is that you create a separate content type called resource type, and you have a relationship between resource and resource type. In this approach, you're using another content type. Now, why would you consider doing this? Well, one of the reasons is that if I want to expose resource type as a filter on my website and for my end user experience, and I'm building out my website or member portal using the content delivery API, which is what you should be using, then I cannot get to the enumeration inside the resource if I go with a single content type approach. So long story short, I probably didn't do a great job of explaining that use case, but the key point I'm trying to make is that there are trade-offs involved, and we've got the best practices and the experience that we can help you understand what you should do, but more importantly, why should you do what we are recommending? That's the thing that I think, we're strong believers in why, not just the how and the what. So, because if I show you, what to do and how to do it, it's useful, but it doesn't prepare you for the next time you have the same, you have a question. Whereas if you understand the why behind it, then it's much more likely that you may be able to self-solve your problem in the future.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. That's really helpful information. So our last question this morning about Contentful. Why Contentful? With all the options people have these days for content management software, why is Contentful Headless CMS the preferred option?
So for us, it's like Contentful is the best headless CMS platform out there that has been built as a headless CMS from the ground up, as opposed to a WordPress supports headless today. So, but are they truly headless? Not quite. Are they heavier weight? One of the things that I, will say that we at XTIVIA particularly like about Contentful is the lightweight, agile nature of it. One of the things that I don't know if you've experienced this yet, but from a development perspective, Contentful has very much an experience like Git for a developer. This whole concept of content as code, Contentful is just taking it out to a next level. So if you're building modern architectural applications and websites and so on, Contentful plays in that space really well. Your developers will love it. That's the real, to us, it's a big difference between Contentful and the others in terms of the developer experience and how easy it is to get going with things there. And Contentful doesn't, and their API is very simple to understand. It's one of those versus some of the other platforms that we've worked with. Their APIs are limited, so you think, so as an example, Drupal. I haven't personally worked with Drupal and its headless API, so I can't say it specifically that this is the case. But based on experience with other platforms, what I would say is that they will support headless, but there will be features within that content management platform where that feature is not available through the headless API because they haven't added it. Whereas Contentful, every feature that is in Contentful is headless enabled because their Contentful web app is built using the APIs. It's not, there's no back door for them to use.
Wonderful. All right, well, I am sold. Thank you so much for joining me this morning, Vivek, and thank you everyone for watching. Please come back in the future for more content management Snacktime Snippets. And make sure to check out our other Snacktime Snippets in the description below. We've got a bunch of these short bite-sized content, just talking about different tech concepts and different things we do here at XTIVIA. So thanks again for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Thank you. Bye for now.